but I'm also very frugal. I'm like, well, what if I make it into an investment property and, I can go stay in it whenever I want, but then it also makes me a ton of money. So we negotiated of doing, it's called a sub-2 hybrid, which is I taking over the basically the mortgage. I'm taking over their payments. I'm not assuming their loan. I'm taking over their payments on their behalf. And then we are doing a seller finance for the rest. So I basically got $740,000 house for 5% or less interest.
Do you ever walk
Yeah.
into a property and just think, what the hell are these people thinking?
Yeah. I mean,
It's just a disaster.
I don't even know. Gosh, one, I've stayed in an Airbnb where
For our viewers, we're doing something a little bit different today. We have Bree with us. Bree is a Airbnb investor. Or would you just say real estate investor?
yeah, I would say real estate investor. My main focus is definitely short-term rentals. Like that's my expertise for sure.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think Monty, do you have any experience in this? Because I'm going to be a layman with this. I'm going to be. It's
You
going to be.
know,
All right. Yeah.
it's minimal. I've
Oh
So,
analyzed
God.
some REITs.
Okay, good.
I
So
was on
like
the
you guys,
pre-IPO call, but that's about it.
okay, yeah. So we're both going to be on a learning journey with the viewers. So this should be a lot of fun. So, can you kind of just to start out, like walk us through like maybe your journey into that, and then like getting into your first purchases as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. It's honestly been a really long journey. Um, I have always, well, we're gonna really, really back it up then.
Okay.
Because I've always wanted to own my own business. Both my parents were entrepreneurs, so that was kind of like really, honestly, embedded into us at a very young age that financial freedom and just freedom of like work and time. You got to be an entrepreneur. I mean, yeah. So
Do you think you
I.
could mention for the viewers what your mom does? Because you've told me before, but it's actually really cool
Oh my
on
gosh,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So my mom, she used to own, it was called Gymnastics on Wheels. So basically it's like a gutted out school bus with no seats in it, carpet, like padded carpet all the way up to the windows with like mini gymnastics equipment. And she would go to daycare, like preschool, and teach basically 18 months to 5-year-olds gymnastics on the bus. Don't worry, it wasn't moving. Uh, everybody was safe. It was just like in the parking lot, but it was a really, really amazing business. I was actually going to take that over. I was going to buy it from her after I graduated college and everything, but it really wasn't in the cards for me. I absolutely love the kids. I love gymnastics. I love the business, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do. And honestly, my main like I'm obsessed with real estate. We're just gonna put it out there. Like I've always wanted, the Chip and Joanna Gaines, like HGTV, like that's me. Like I would 100% just go all in on flipping a house, like building, like, putting the floors together, putting up drywall. Like I love being creative, doing like my own thing, my own design, like it just everything from like just 100% demo. I just love, especially the fact that you're always constantly learning a new skill in that too. That just made me like really just, I don't even know like what I'm going for, but I just, yeah, it clearly I'm really passionate about it. So I was like,
Yeah.
this is what I want to do. Like I want to get into real estate. So I got my real estate license, learned all the ins and outs of like buying real estate. And then I actually ended up moving to Arizona. And was out there. Just honestly, it was like a God thing that like I needed to be out there, which totally makes sense because that's where I bought my first short-term rental. And I also found the short-term rental like that avenue just really interesting because for me, like I always loved traveling and I just had the vision like I'm also not like someone who wants to like stay in the same place like all the time. Both my parents also took me and my brother to amazing places growing up as well. And like that's what I want to do to my future family. So it's like I would love to have property in Florida and Colorado, like just all over this place. But I'm also very frugal. I'm like, well, what if I make it into an investment property and, you know, I can go stay in it whenever I want, but then it also makes me a ton of money. You know, it's like oh, win-win. So
Yeah.
that's where like the whole idea of building up this short-term rental, I guess, business. And so when I moved out to Arizona, I actually met up with a realtor who was doing exactly what I wanted to do. She had a short-term rental that was honestly targeted to bachelorettes. It was super girly, very unique, themed out, murals, just such a fun like place. And that was like the other pop, like this is exactly what I want to do. Like now I want to make my properties almost not the same, but to have kind of that same theme, to have like
A destination type of marketing.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, you know, every location will be like kind of this like targeted to that theme. So like we're just going to go to my Arizona property. So like I have a desert ranch property that I just launched. So it's in Scottsdale, and that is more like Western desert vibes. And so I would have one in Nashville, and that's more of like country with lots of music to it, like that. And then the whole brand of like the dream houses kind of plays into that too. So like that's my brand, or that's my business name is, so it'd be like the Desert Ranch Dream House. And I also have Desert Dream House. And then we'll go to like, I mean, I'll think of better names, but like the Nashville Dream House, the Austin, Texas Dream House, you know, just yeah. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now, just building up that portfolio to have that financial freedom, to be able to work and live wherever I want to live. And honestly, it's my passion. This is
Yeah.
what I want to do for the rest of my life. And even if I didn't get paid every day, I'd be 100% happy with it. So
Yeah.
kind of just following like that.
Yeah, it definitely seems like there's a huge drive for like a nomadic lifestyle behind that, which is cool. Always wanting to be traveling. Have you? There's also a large degree of, because I've seen the photos on Instagram.
Mm.
A queue different photos of the houses so people could see, but there's lots of interior design that has to go into that as well. Which path did you take first? Were you really into interior design and then got into real estate, or did you get into real estate and then realize, oh, I have a knack for this, or for you know, creating these different themes for these homes and everything?
You know, I guess it was kind of more of a mix because
Okay, yeah.
I love being creative. And like that's what I'm saying about like from demo to putting like a property on the market and everything, like the whole interior design aspect, even furnishing properties, like I just love literally like from beginning, start to end. So interior design comes very natural to me, I guess.
It really not.
I literally do everything myself. I did everything from putting up the wallpaper to picking out all the designs and even painting the murals. So
Yeah, because it's not an easy thing to do. I can't even draw a picture. I couldn't even do a good stick figure, let alone think about like how this room should come together. You know, it's amazing I even pulled this off and it's a complete mess, you know.
no, it looks great.
I
I
was
love
gonna
it.
say, I'm clearly an expert in that field.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe you could help us out with our backgrounds. That's what we need.
Yeah, you
But
know, we'll see. You just
yeah.
gotta pay me a lot.
Heard on that. So, when you're going through the purchasing process, if someone was
Mhm.
new and they were like, how's that first purchase go? You know, into like figuring out the
Yeah,
money, making that work.
yeah,
You just moved to a new place. Did you have a job out there that you got? Or did you have some money built up and saved up? Like what was that like getting the first property?
yeah. So honestly, I went more of like a traditional route, a little bit. But if I knew like what I know now back then, honestly, I probably have like 20 plus properties right now. So it was a lot. Again, it was very slow process of really learning everything because this idea like started back in 2014. And I mean,
Okay.
that was 10 years ago when I really like wanted to pursue 100% like real estate investing. Again, yeah, it's just a long journey. And I just always thought that I had to have a ton of money. Like I needed to work a bunch of different jobs to just stack up money to put 20% down and finally get my property. And what I ended up doing in my first one, I ended up using a private money lender. Now I knew that person personally, but what I ended up doing was I basically took all of the info that realtor friend that started her Airbnb business. It was called the Pink Cactus. So she was my realtor and she gave me all of her numbers. And then I ended up basically creating a business plan. I took that to my private money lenders, my investors, laid it all out like, hey, like this is why it's going to be profitable. This is your return, like all of this. And they're like, okay, done. We believe in you. Go do it. But starting like fast forwarding today, I mean, well, it took me 2 years, no, 3 years, sorry. It took me 3 years to finally get my second property. One, because of a lot of shiny object syndrome. I started opening my own management company and started designing and managing for other investors. And I'm like, why am I sitting here making other people rich? Like, this is what I want to do. Like, I don't want to get a little small check for doing all the fun designs that like this should be my property. Like I need to hold on to my cool designs for my own properties. Like so that extended for a couple years and then I was like, nah, like we're 100% like focusing on like I'm just building up investing properties. Like that's all I want to do is buy. So I actually ended up taking a lot of different coaching courses to learn the specialized knowledge of how to invest in like off-market properties and other strategies. So this last one that I got, which was in Scottsdale again, and it was honestly a super crazy story. I actually put an offer on this house back in December of 2020. So I was going to buy this property before my desert dream house one that I ended up buying instead. And this property, the homeowners were asking way too much for it. We were like negotiating back and forth about like $5,000. I know you're like $5,000. What is that? Well, with my private money lenders, we were at top of our top dollar. So like that $5,000, like if anything were to come back in the inspections or even getting into the house, like that just cuts my cost of like furnishing the way I wanted to, or even like tearing down a wall that I really needed to, like just all this stuff. And they just weren't willing to work with us off of $5,000. So I'm like, screw you, bye. This other property went down $10,000. And so I ended up buying that, which was a $50,000 difference. So I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely go take that property over you. So bye, ended up buying that one instead. And honestly, it was such a smart idea because it was during the craziness. 6 months later, I had $100,000 or it was appraised for $100,000 more than what I bought it for.
Nice.
So,
Oh, wow.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got in a really good time. Yeah, thank you, COVID, for that one. But yeah, so fast forward again. Sorry, I jump all over the place.
No, you're fine.
But this one, they ended up finally selling it to someone I think it was about like 6 months later for like it was going for 450. They ended up selling it for like 550. So good for them for hanging on to it. And then the people that I bought it from did a really good job to it. Did exactly like what I would have done, like the refinished like the whole backyard, did some turf, knocked down the wall that I wanted to. Anyway, in December of this year, they put it on the market way above ask, like way above what it should be. Like they were asking way too much. But I brought to them a different solution. So they were not successful on Airbnb at all. They had poor management and poor design. They were literally failing, barely breaking even. So I came in and I was like, like if you can lower the price, interest rates are absolutely crazy right now. I will, like, would you be willing to do a creative financing deal? We're like, well, let me know what you have. Like, tell me about it. So we negotiated of doing, it's called a sub-2 hybrid, which is I taking over the basically the mortgage. I'm taking over their payments. I'm not assuming their loan. I'm taking over their payments on their behalf. And then we are doing a seller finance for the rest. So I basically got a $740,000 house for 5% or less interest compared to the market now, which is well over 7%. And all I had to do was put $50,000 down. And I also used a PML for that. So I literally put 0% of my own money into the project.
That's
So
awesome.
basically got a free house.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So
Crazy.
when you're talking about like they failed to support management, what does that look like? What does that mean? Like the way that they advertised it, they just weren't getting people to go to the house. And what made you confident that when you took it over, you would be okay?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So I do have, I've been doing basically property management for Airbnbs for almost 4 years now. And I really understand, especially that market of Scottsdale. I know what works, I know what doesn't. And clearly, like they gave me their numbers. I could tell. And looking at the property, like Airbnb, everyone's gonna say Airbnb is dead. It's not dead, it's just changed. And you can either stay where you are, where you started with, or you can up level your property and make it better than other people around you. That's how you survive. That's every business, right? Like you have to constantly keep adapting, keep changing, keep becoming, improving, keep improving. Um, because yeah, it's just I understand like Airbnb is a very saturated market, and it is. Everyone and their mom wants to jump in on it because the returns are amazing.
Yeah.
But you have to understand the market. And that's what I saw. I could easily just look at pictures and be like, yeah, I know what's wrong with this. And I didn't have to do a really deep dive into it. So I knew the area. My other property is literally across the street. So I had that. And yeah, I just really know the numbers there. And that's why I know it could be very successful.
That probably
So in
plays
that
a
Scottsdale, or sorry, you go ahead.
no, you're good. You're fine. You're fine.
I was going to ask, so in that Scottsdale property that you took over, were you able to bring that up to profitability, or is it still pretty break even at this point?
Yeah, no, that's a great question too. Right now, so I just launched it literally in the middle of last month. So it was back in
Oh, gotcha.
February.
So it's
So
way
it's
early
still
on.
brand new, but yeah, almost every single weekend has been booked up so far. Yeah, and to be, yes, I am going to be profitable. I'll be making about $100,000 this year on the property. So it's going to be probably like a closer to like a 40% return that I'll be taking.
This is
So
fantastic.
So you
'Cause
really turned it over or turned
yeah,
it around.
yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's just, to me, this is what I know. This is my baby. Like, just once I actually stuck to a plan and dove right in and 100% focused all my energy on this, everything kind of just snowballs. So I'm actually working on a couple other projects that I will be announcing soon.
okay, exciting,
Um,
very exciting.
yeah, so I can't wait to share it. But we are looking for, people to either be equity partners or even private money lenders. And yeah, so who knows?
When
Maybe I'll be working with one of your friends.
yeah, no, absolutely. There's definitely I will be sharing this with quite a few people actually. But when we're talking about the management of the property, so there's Airbnb fees that go into that, right? Then there's
Mhm,
the cleaner. Do you have a cleaner come out then? Because
mhm.
so then when I guess the fact that that also is across the street from the other property, you just have the same person clean that. It's actually probably pretty convenient, isn't it? It's
Mhm.
also easier for, how often do you personally go out and check those properties?
So I do have a really good team. I'll probably be out there maybe like every 6 weeks or maybe like, every 2 months or so. But I have people who will run and check on the property if I need to. Just we call him my gopher. Um, and then I have an amazing handyman who's very knowledgeable. So that's always great. My cleaning crew, very trustworthy. Um, they do an amazing job on cleaning and letting me know what, things, if things happen. Um, but yeah, so it's kind of easy.
It's nice.
To some people it might not be, but like I've also set myself up and the people that I actually manage their properties right now as well up for success because I've trained these people. I've also been through a lot of different people to get to the right people, and that's what you're gonna have to do too. It's kind of a learning experience. If like your cleaners don't do a good job, just keep on moving on to the next one. And there's so many sites out there too to like help you find good cleaners. Like I use Turnover B&B, or I guess it's called Turno now, which is like a marketplace for cleaners. So it's literally like I post my project and then people can bid on it. And I'd be like, okay, you look like a good cleaner. They have ratings and all that stuff. So it's really, really easy. But yeah, it's just mainly like the only thing I really work on is managing the pricing, the guest communication, which I'll probably, delegate that out to build up my team as I keep on building up properties. But yeah, I
Uh,
know. Sorry, go ahead.
you're fine. When you're looking at locations, do you do a bunch of background of like what areas? Because I imagine that this has got to be really localized to. Okay, you said 40% returns. I imagine if you're in a further from a major city like that, if you weren't in Scottsdale, it probably would be a lot harder to drive that amount of profitability. So is there like certain areas that are just super ripe spots and you tend to only stay there? Or
Honestly, it's all in your numbers.
okay.
You can You can be successful on Airbnb, but as long as you know your numbers, like it's same thing as like a normal rental, like a long-term
Okay.
rental. Like, I mean, it will be successful. It's just, well, I shouldn't say successful. It will be rented out, but you also have to know like your numbers prior to getting into that property. But like my goal is to get properties in very traveled
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah, I was going to say, just hearing about your strategy on having very thematic type of properties for people to stay at, as well as the geographic regions. It sounds like
Mhm.
you cater to more of the higher end personnel instead of, someone that's going to go there, trash it, and not pay the bills or something like that.
Hmm.
You say that, but Miss Property is actually targeted bachelorettes that are partying every weekend. But I target to bachelorettes and not bachelors for that reason, because girls are a little bit cleaner and nicer and they don't get mad and punch holes in the walls like guys do. Sorry, guys.
As long as you're not named Kyle.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
let's be
funny.
honest, that's like that happens. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So my theme, I mean, yeah, my target market is women.
And
Because they do tend to take care of the property a little bit better.
and bef-
And Scott's, sorry, go.
you're good. Yeah. Before the podcast started, we were talking about your social media strategy and the type of posts you were doing and going viral. Like that, a lot of that success in keeping those booked. If you had to put a percentage on it, a guesstimate, how much do you think of those bookings come from that social media success that you've had?
You
And
know, yes. So that's actually a really good, I mean, we're gonna snowball into the next category here, but so I I used to be a social media influencer. Don't really, yeah, who hasn't been, let's be honest, or tried. Um,
I'm the boomer in the group, apparently.
everybody's a little influencer, you know? Um,
I'm a bad influence. Let's cut that out, but
hey, but you're still an influencer. Doesn't matter if you're a good or bad influencer, you're little one. Yeah, so I did have a background. I used to travel all the time, and you know, I would get free stays into places like just around the world and stuff. So I have that background of like, okay, what can go viral and like, I guess. But when I first bought the Desert Dream House, my first property in January 2021, I just posted like, hey, this is like what I'm doing. I just bought this. It's in Scottsdale, targeted to women. And just one simple video of like, hey, hi, I'm Bree. I mean, you could probably even just roll it if you really wanted to. Um,
Yeah, I'll throw it
it,
in here.
yeah, yeah, just showing my, like, I'm working on this project and it literally just went viral. And before he was even live, people were asking me to book, and like I literally had to have a launch date. And literally once that launch date hit, within like a week, almost the entire summer, every weekend until like almost summer was booked up, which was really, really nice. And so then I just slowly increased my prices as I went. Um, but yeah, so I kind of took that as, or now like with the whole like Instagram, my idea is to continually like design my properties to women. Doesn't have to, like, you don't have to stay for a bachelorette. It can be a girls trip, it can be a birthday, it can even be family. Like I do have a ton of families like come and stay with me or stay at my properties. But for these different locations, like they are all different themed, but they are all still like that target market, and like they're going to want to continue to stay with me because they know what the customer service is like. They had a great time. They know the value of the house, what they're going to get. You know, they're not going to get catfished. I constantly update my properties. I make sure it's still like in, you know, it looks just like the pictures. So when also with the murals, I make it very Instagrammable. So people are posting their pictures and they're like, where are you staying? And then they tell them like at the Desert Dream House. And then people will reach out to me on social media and be like, hey, like when are you unlocking this date? I have my friend's bachelorette in 2025. I'm like, oh, you can just wait a year and just wait and we'll be available. So I do have honestly, I can't even tell you how many people book from my Instagram to Airbnb. I do have my own direct booking site and I get a very small amount there, but I know a lot of people are more comfortable with booking on Airbnb because it's a platform they trust. They know what they're
Yeah.
going to get to, and it's just easier. But yeah, so I don't know my numbers on the return, but the goal is, sorry, I talk a lot.
You're
The
good.
goal is to basically build up that social media, that Instagram that I have for the properties. And it just, you know, it's basically like the landing page for all the other properties. So the more people post, the more it increases and, you know, following, as well as like, you know, as that following increases, people are going to want to post more. So I feature them on my social media platform, which might get them more followers too. Like, which is, it keeps snowballing, but
oh
yeah.
yeah, a little cascading effect there. And I feel like that's a good aspect to have, like especially, I mean, I'm not gonna um make presumptions, but just like a girl's trip, you want to have it Instagrammable. You know, you're going to take a million pictures on a bachelorette party or whatever, and you know, having the property that's um, camera ready or whatever. You know, I feel like that really helps with not just marketing on your behalf, but also just having that brand, having something that people are excited about, and you know,
Yeah.
keeps them a dedicated client. You know, maybe they went to your Scottsdale property and said, wow, this is a cool place. Love it. Gonna go try your Nashville because I want to go to Nashville now. Get some hot chicken and I know a place to stay.
Or
Exactly.
now is that branding clear on Airbnb too? Do you have like a I haven't been on the Airbnb's website, so this might be a dumb question. When when someone looks it up, is there like a logo or something, so they know when they click on the house that it's your property?
Yeah,
Something.
so no, yeah, you're getting there. So Airbnb does
Yeah.
have like a small like other landing page. So whenever like I mean someone can type in, I think it's like airbnb.com/h/dream house B&B. If you type in that URL, you can see all the properties I manage and own.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a
Yeah.
nice little landing page, which I do have in my link tree whenever like people like click the link on my social medias, they can see all that.
I was asking because I was thinking, people have a good experience with you, and then they just happen to be looking at an area, and they're like, "Oh, wait, remember when we stayed at the other house? Look, they have this house here too." Like that was kind of what I was thinking in my
Yeah,
head. Like that would definitely be a button clicker for the buy button or reserve
yeah.
button on that.
It
I do want to ask though, because there are some Airbnb competitors. Have you ever had any interest in them? Do you just like working with Airbnb? Just had a better experience there?
yeah.
Like, yeah.
I'm on VRBO as well, Verbo, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Um, and then I think, and then again, I have my own website. I honestly, I'm fine with sticking to where I am. Like, there's so many other outlets out there, and eventually I will probably hand off the management side of things so that way I can focus on the properties of social media and growing and like continue to buy more properties. Because it is a lot to manage. So eventually I do want to like let go of that and have more freedom. And then I know there's so many out there. Booking.com, Marin, what is it like? Literally, I think every hotel now has their own basically short-term rental booking site. It's
Oh,
crazy.
I didn't
It's
even know
absolutely
that.
insane.
Okay. There's
Yeah.
probably Marriott has something like that.
Yeah, that's what,
Okay.
yep.
Okay. All
There's
right.
there's so much. It's yeah.
That would make
Too much
sense.
for me to like keep track of and manage and probably even to like you know, make it the best, I
Yeah.
guess, going through that. So I'll stick to what I know and what I do best, and that's just Airbnb, VRBO, and then my own direct booking.
Now, does the making so the destin you mentioned something earlier, and I just want to backtracking a little bit, but you mentioned that you steadily rose the prices. We blew up on social media. All of a sudden, there's all these bookings. You steadily rose the prices. Do
Hmm.
you get to charge a premium over the other houses in the area because you are so much of a destination? You've created this like marketing and stuff behind it. Has that been helping your margins?
At first, but everyone has honestly, not everyone. There's a lot of people that jumped on this train.
Okay.
So there's a ton of competition already to where now now I know the pricing. I know what people are going to pay for, and I know what's going to like what's going to get my calendar completely booked up.
Okay.
So I do, yeah, it's competition. So I just got to really make sure I'm staying at the top dollar, but still like showcasing or even featuring more things than those other Airbnbs, if
Do you
that
do
makes sense.
like do you do the Airbnb equivalent to like surge pricing or anything like that?
Yeah, so there's so many other pricing tools out there too. So I'm always constantly looking to see what is going on in the area, what concerts, what sporting events are happening. And yeah, definitely I'll raise the prices as needed. Airbnb has a really good tool like that. I think there's like Wheelhouse as well. There's
Okay.
so many tools.
I was about
It's
to
really
ask
cool.
if Airbnb had a built-in tool to help notify you about that. Like, concert in this area coming up. Does they have? Is that what you meant by they have an Airbnb tool for that? Or
So you can actually basically let Airbnb price your entire property. I don't
oh,
believe in
okay,
that. I I think let's be honest, their own site, do they really care about how much money you're making? And if
yeah,
you're top dollar, or are they just going to put you a little bit less than what other people are booking or like pricing at? So
Yeah.
I don't let anybody besides myself like really manage, especially because it is a unique property. Not every property is gonna look like mine. So I 100% like manage the pricing tools. Just so
They
I
take
can,
their tariff fee
yeah,
regardless. They're
I can
there.
capitalize. Yeah.
Yeah, I know
So,
they try to get into what was it? Was it destinations or events or something like that a couple years ago, and investors just trashed the idea, pushed it out, and stuck with their core business. So I didn't know if they included events on their site. Again, I haven't been on Airbnb honestly ever. I usually just stay at a hotel if I'm traveling, which is never as well, but um
That's okay.
if I'm traveling, dude,
yeah,
it's to my parents'
yeah.
house in Houston. I don't have anywhere to go or anything to see, but I
He
have
just
enough in here.
Monty just sleeps in his one
His
room
car.
apartment underneath his drum set in his white house. Never
Hey, this is a
leave.
3-room
All
banger,
he,
man. This is a
Oh
shotgun
man.
house.
all he does is
Oh yeah.
research day and night, crawls out from underneath the drum set.
As long,
Anyway.
as long as I have some scotch, a couple cigars, and my laptop, I am
Hey, the simple life, right?
Yeah,
happy. Keep it simple.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, um, that's awesome though. So how much so you can't talk about your future projects. You know what? A little
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
okay.
I
I
would,
will
oh
then
my gosh, I would love to. Like, I am so freaking pumped about them. Like, they're gonna be absolutely amazing. But like right now, I'm working on like counter offers. And so nothing is actually locked down. So, it's almost pointless to even like really talk about it until it's actually like locked in. I actually have a contract signed and everything. So,
Mhm.
I will definitely like once the project is secured, on my social medias, I will absolutely blast it. And if I need partners to partner up, then I'll also, I guess talk about that, talk about, all the, or like, this is maybe the basic info. And so like, if someone wanted to like probably invest with me, we'd set up just like a one-on-one call. I also have in my link tree to like a way you can just kind of get your contact information. It's kind of just super basic, but also like, okay, like what kind of partner do you want to be? Do you want to be a private money lender who gets like monthly returns? And then after, X amount of months or X amount of years, you want that back in full, or do you want to be an equity partner? Do you want like a percentage of like the property, whatever project I'm doing or working on? And again, it'd be their choice. So it's really cool. There's just so many different ways that we could work together. Um, and it's kind of just like if you fill out that sheet, then like I can reach out to you when I do present something, and you can be the first one to get in on the action, the fun. But then what I also do is on my social media, I will basically show every step from me purchasing it and me designing the whole thing, and then finally it going live, which is really cool to do as well. It's fun.
that that is really cool. Yeah,
So
that's cool.
on,
So oh, go ahead.
I have a question on future projects. I know you're not going to talk about that, but
Yeah.
just in general, at a high level, do you have like destination cities that you're targeting, or do you kind of just, how do you select um, regions that you're looking to invest
Yeah,
in?
great question. Basically anything that's very highly traveled areas. Especially like if it's um, you know, party areas. I mean, you're looking at like Miami, Nashville. I would love to get into San Diego one day. Austin, Texas is definitely on the top list. Myrtle Beach, it literally anywhere in the coast of Florida. Like I want a beachfront property for sure. And also just Branson, Missouri is a really amazing area too. Has lots of um, people all over traveling to it. Surprisingly, I know. That's like that's
Yeah,
a
I've never
hot
heard of
zone. I know, right? It's in my
Wait, that's a
backyard.
that's a joke, right,
don't tell
Monty?
my don't tell my landlady she's from there.
Okay.
I think she is. I have no idea, but
Is that a joke, Monty? You good?
I'm just
no,
double
but
checking, you know?
Yeah.
We just
yeah, I've
confirmed he
heard of
doesn't go anywhere,
Branson.
so
Yeah.
Honestly, I've heard of it, but I never realized how big of a deal Branson was until like people. So I moved to St. Louis, what is it now, 4 or so years ago now, but I had never heard of Branson before moving out here. And since I moved out here, people that don't live here in St. Louis, they ask me about Branson like I know the place. It's like I don't know what
Mhm.
Branson is. What do they have like? Is that the place with the
You
amusement
got
park that's on TV or something? I don't know, but
I think I'm Six
I get asked
it.
Flags.
about it from outsiders.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, yeah, I haven't been there in like, God, since I was probably like 8 years old too. But I just
Yeah.
know there's like, it's just definitely family oriented. You got Table Rock Lake,
Yeah. You got
just a bunch of
golf
camp
carts, and there are
golf
some
carts.
rides. Yeah.
Oh,
There's
that's
a lot of
fun.
restaurants.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
family
Yeah.
goes. We go. They actually were wanting to get an Airbnb out there at one point, but we've stayed. I've stayed
See?
at a few
You need to get
out
on
there.
this.
Yeah, I
Get
know.
this family
Yeah.
in the
Hey,
loop.
And that's what I was thinking why it's so good you
Dedicated
target
client.
you target women, because I know at least in my family dynamic it is mom who plans everything, and we are all informed on where we're going to go. Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah. So
that's so fun.
yeah, I could definitely see why you get so many families and stuff. That's a ton of fun. All right, so uh how much of your nomadic will for your life journey goes into picking that destination? Like when you're looking for a property, and you've got to have some sort of priority list in your head, right? Of like, oh, I really like this place, I want to visit there a lot. Like, so do you start hunting in those areas typically, or does someone reach out to you and say, hey, I found this? How much of that do you get actually?
Yeah, so I actually have an amazing community. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of like Pace Morby Sub 2 community. He is like the king of creative financing. He's absolutely amazing. Um, but so I joined actually his community in September, and that's where everything kind of snowballed. Like the community is absolutely amazing with like wanting to help you become successful. And like that's like a first I've seen in like this kind of career. It's always been like hush hush, like, but this is like I get deals thrown at me like every single day,
Yeah.
which is really, really nice. And those people are just like wholesalers in the area. Like I love doing the creative deals because I don't have to use my own credit. I don't have to use my own, even like my down payments. It's very little, usually to even nothing for down payments. The interest rate is usually amazing. But the properties that I'm more looking at, I would like basically like if they're fully furnished and failed Airbnbs, like that's my expertise is like, okay, like I know like I already got the redesign going on. Like we can redesign this furniture, we can even sell the furniture, but yeah, it's just the projects I'm working on right now is I know the opportunity is going to be insane and it's going to have more of like a national recognition. So that's why I'm focusing on this and kind of putting everything on the back burner until this is like completed,
Okay. No,
if that
that
makes
makes
Do you ever
sense.
sense.
walk
Yeah.
into a property and just think, what the hell are these people thinking?
Yeah. I mean,
It's just a disaster.
I don't even know. Gosh, I mean, one, I've stayed in an Airbnb where they didn't have like covers, like additional covers. There was like food splatters like all over the wall. Like it looked like I don't know, it was disgusting. And it's like the scariest thing ever. It was like out in LA. And yeah, you get what you pay for, I guess though, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. What's really cool too,
Yeah.
though, is like Airbnb will protect you. Like they'll always be on the guest side, which is kind of like a sucky thing. Like a guest could lie about X, Y, and Z, but I
Yeah.
don't know. It's for the guest safety.
I just
It's
I just I just learned that quote that the customer is always right is not the full
you saw,
quote.
did you saw that on a reel, didn't you?
Yeah, I
Was
did.
it
Yeah, and I think it was an
in their own
Instagram
opinion?
reel. Yeah.
You sent that to
No,
me, right?
the full quote is a guest is always right when it comes to matters of taste, which is
Yeah.
completely different than what that
Hmm.
original saying is. And that actually kind of blew my mind because I was like, huh, we really abused that one. Like as a culture for
But
a
okay,
long
but for
time.
real, but is it not,
Yeah.
true? Like a
Oh yeah.
customer's always right because why fight something and you lose?
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
let's be
They're paying
honest.
you.
Yeah, and what's the term too is like you could have 10 amazing guests, but the one person like the one that's doesn't have a good experience will tell 100 people or whatever.
Yeah.
But then the 10 will tell no one. The
Yes.
10 good ones will tell, so it's yeah. There's so many times where I'm like, I've had a guest like have an issue or whatever, and I'm just like, dude, like go home. But then I'll just give them like I'll refund them whatever
Yeah.
to make them happy because I mean it is their experience and everybody's experience is different. And I'd rather have a good review than a bad review regardless of the situation, So yeah, $150, $200, whatever, like that's pennies. But
Yep.
someone saying something very terrible can also deteriorate bookings, people
Yeah.
from
Yeah, I
booking.
feel like for what me and Josh does, bad publicity is actually really good publicity because we can turn it around later on. When things materialize, we can say, yeah, we were right.
Oh
But
yeah.
for it's happened more often than not, especially in my case. I know in your case with the trading, but
Yeah.
like for the BNBs where social media is everything and it's such a cascading effect and an avalanche once it gets moving in the wrong direction, regardless of if it's material or not, it can just be disastrous.
Yeah, that's kind of like
Mhm.
a death sentence if it really gets like catches fire, especially since you're so far on social media. Because if someone gets mad, they can really. I've had people get mad over nothing and they're maniacs. They'll go from my Twitter to my TikTok to my YouTube and they'll comment mean things, say mean thing over. I'm like, you really got time in your day for this? This is crazy.
Oh, haters
Haters gonna
absolutely do,
hate.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
Haters gonna hate.
Some people go, yeah, it's wild. Yeah, so that was a shock to me. But yeah, you've been killing it on the Insta on your do you main is your main focus on Instagram? Would you say that's like your expertise? Is that you're thriving the most on there?
I mean that I just honestly I just use TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
Um,
When's the YouTube coming?
that's what they
Full.
say. You gotta make a YouTube. I do have,
Yeah,
oh, I shouldn't say that. I do have a YouTube channel, but I need to it
clean it
my
up.
you so yeah, I need to clean it up. The YouTube channel. So again, like I used to do like social media influencing. I was a really huge advocate for like mental health as well. So all my old stuff was, I also had a blog, was it's traveling and mental health. So that's my YouTube channel right
Oh,
now.
okay. So you have to do like a just like slight rebranding or anything, or
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I talk about I still talk about my mental health, and I'm a huge advocate for that. As well as like my faith, my strong faith, in the Lord. I will preach that till the day I die. And so I will always like be true to myself,
Good.
as I grow my business as well.
Yeah, that's real good. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, do you have any more questions, Monty? Like, I learned a lot.
Um, yeah, I learned a lot more about real estate than I thought I would. So that's yeah, it's good.
Awesome.
Good on
Really,
my end.
yeah, that's really appreciate it. We're gonna put all of Bree's links down below. Go check it out. Stay at one of her Airbnbs and keep up on the exciting announcements coming up as well. I'll post all
Mhm.
also. This is the investor and trader podcast, so maybe there'll be someone who's wanting to also reach out to some,
Yeah,
for that too. So I'll include a link down there below.
yeah.
And
Because you
really,
know what, you know the stats for
what
millionaires, right?
what? No, go ahead.
90% of all millionaires have invest in real estate. So they have some kind of portfolio or they have partners who also invest in real estate. So
Gotta do it.
90%,
Yeah.
Let's hop
yeah,
on this.
you gotta have a mixed portfolio.
Other.
Real
Yep.
estate's backed by, I mean, investing, you
Mm.
have a tangible, you know, if anything were to go wrong. which
Pretty much
usually
all you can
doesn't,
do.
but
It's like the most solid thing. It never loses value. It's better than
yeah.
gold just to own
We
land. Yeah.
we cannot build
Yeah.
more land. We can only build houses on land. So once all that's bought up, what are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
Soon it will be
So
just real estate for 90%
yeah.
and Dogecoin for the other 10. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
I also, dude, you can also quote me on this. Do you want to know how you can predict how much your house is worth in 40 years?
No. The
Just put
math
a
equation?
nope.
Okay.
Well, yeah. All you have to do is put a zero behind it, and that's how much it's going to be worth in 40 years.
Oh, that's cute.
I'm not even joking. You have a
That's how it works?
$100,000 house, and
Yeah.
in 40 years, it's going to be worth $1 million.
It's my kind of math right there.
Yeah, I like that
Something.
math a lot. Yeah.
So always keep your properties unless it's going to buy you 2 more properties. If that makes sense.
Also never sell anything.
Or something better.
What if you're not renting stuff out? If you're just like in residential, you still do the same thing?
So like, I mean, my future, I don't know what it looks like. I still want to have this portfolio, but I like want to invest in other things like eventually multifamily.
Okay.
Maybe even like, well, boutique hotels, wink, wink. Um, which is one of the
Gonna
projects I'm
say
working on.
your themes that can coincide right there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like again, like just it's continuing like snowball, and so I don't know, just
That's fun.
who knows what the
Yeah.
future holds. But
Sweet.
this short-term rental brand, this portfolio of the dream houses, this is did I even state that it's the dream houses? I don't
Yeah,
think
you did. You did at
I
the
okay.
beginning. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's my main focus right now, and then we'll see what the future holds.
Awesome. That's super exciting. I'm happy for you. This is Pup. Yeah, you're like at the beginning. So like when you blow up, this will be like the first podcast. Have you done a podcast on YouTube yet?
Data,
Not we
I was on Pace Morbies. I did a YouTube video with
okay.
Pace.
All right. So we'll just say the
Um,
first fun podcast. Just kidding.
okay. I'm gonna send this to him and he's gonna be so like, like, well, now I gotta get you on my podcast. No, yeah, so I'm really excited. So hopefully, yeah, we can, I can work with the people who work with you, but honestly, you're killing it in the freaking game too. Like I followed you for a very long time, and I'm just like,
Appreciate it.
man, like I would love to get into this, but again, this is not, no, I'm like, I literally went to you. I was like, can you just, whenever I, invest in the stock market, can I just give it to you and you just manage the whole thing for me? Like, why do I have to learn that trade? Like, you're killing it. Like, here you go. Please just manage all my money for me in that stocks.
Yeah, I get that a lot, but yeah, then I get overwhelmed. It'd be like if everyone came to you and was like, "Well, just take over all these houses for me." And you're like, "I need
I,
a management team."
honestly,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
exactly how I feel right now.
yeah,
I have like all these people that want to work with me, and because they've seen how successful those properties have been, and I'm like, well, yeah, if you want to partner, fine, like I'll teach you how to manage everything. Like we can partner together, like I'll be an equity partner and I'll teach you all the ins and outs, and then you can go get your own the next round or whatever, or we can continue to partner, and so that way you're not alone in this, we can do it together, which honestly is the best thing you can do, especially in real estate. It's going to get you so much further, which is why I want to partner with people that want to invest money in with me. The amount of time it's going to take me to build up enough money to invest in the properties I want to invest in, it's going to be like 10 years, to be honest. So use other people's money, give them 8, 10, 12% on top of that, and work together and continue to be successful and rich and wealthy together.
yeah. No,
Everybody
awesome.
wins.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the
Better
best
to have a
outcome.
piece of something than nothing.
And even the people staying there get win too. They get the build up their own socials and everything. Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Well, that sounds like a good place to wrap it up. Appreciate
I
you
know,
coming
man.
on.
I could literally talk for 2 hours.
Okay.
That's fun. I love talking real estate. It's Yeah.
When
Sweet.
you get these next projects, the next set of projects rolling, we'll get you back on here and do a little deal on that one
Recap.
too.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely should. That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I can probably just like break it all down like with the numbers and everything too, so people can see like what they could get on future returns and stuff. That'd be really cool.
Oh yeah, that would be a lot of fun to dive into the numbers. All
Mm-hmm.
Oh
right.
yeah.
So make sure everyone subscribe to the channel. So next time Bree comes on, we'll get real deep into the numbers and then we'll tell her where to stuff that money into a portfolio. You give us the numbers for the real estate, then we'll go over the numbers for a portfolio for where you put your profits. There we go. We'll do an
Yep.
exchange there. Be a good setup. Anyways, I hope everyone enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you check out Bree's links below. Make sure to check out Monty's links below as well for his Substack, the Peach Pit, all the research you could possibly want and need. And Bree is also in the Discord, by the way. So if you want to check out my Discord
I am.
and say hi to
I am.
everyone, yeah, it's the best place ever to communicate, network with people. So hey,
It
y'all
is.
have a great night. Thanks for coming out.